Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn star as Brett and Anthony, two bulwark cops in Dragged Across Concrete, who were put on 6-month suspension without pay for using excessive force when arresting a Mexican-American. Their act was seen as racist, an epithet these days, according to their superior, Don Johnson, worse than being called a communist in the 1950s.
There's an issue with the bust you two made this morning.
How long is this suspension going to be?
6 weeks, no pay.
Brett has a wife, Melanie, Laurie Holden, with multiple sclerosis, and a daughter, Sarah, who is being targeted by local hoodlums. He needs to move out of the area. Meanwhile, recently released from jail is Henry, Tony Kittles, who's being recruited by his mate Biscuit, Michael J. White, to run shotgun for a robbery. Brett decides to go over to the dark side. He inveigles Anthony into going along with robbing a drug dealer, Vogelman, Thomas Kretschmann, a particularly ruthless character. But things don't exactly pan out as expected, leading to a vortex of violence. Dragged Across Concrete is the work of S. Craig Zahler. He wrote and directed, and he also co-composed the songs and additional music for the film, singing one of the songs himself. It's his third outing as a filmmaker after Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99, the latter also starring Vince Vaughn, as well as Don Johnson and Udo Kier, who appears briefly in this. The characters are loquacious, the dialogue wry and laconic and occasionally funny. Zahler takes his time establishing characters, atmosphere, giving the film an interesting texture, and he doesn't shy away from some of the more gruesome aspects of his story. All the lead performances are fine. Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn, never better. It was shot by Zahler's regular cinematographer, Benji Bakshi, and he imbues the film with a darkness that suits the material. If I have a qualm about the film, it is that at nearly 2 hours 40 minutes, it's slightly too languorous for its own good. There's a touch of smugness in Zahler's love of his own wordplay and cynicism. Even the eventual action scene is unnecessarily overextended. But for all that, this is quite a gripping thriller. Graham?
Well, I was certainly gripped by it. I was mesmerised by it. It's superbly made, this film. He's a wonderful craftsman as a director, Zahler. And as you say, the performances are absolutely brilliant. It's like a hymn to pulp in so many ways. You can kind of see the background to this film in all the novels, particularly the novels of Elmore Leonard, I think, and Leonard's ear for the dialogue of the marginalised and the criminal, the patter. And a lot of the film takes place in cars as people sit around waiting, particularly our two lead characters, and it's very, very droll, the dialogue between them. And it's almost like restoration comedy. It's so arch and so contrived as dialogue. It's still oddly realistic at the same time. The way Leonard's dialogue is realistic, taken from the street slang. I loved it.
I know, but didn't you feel it was slightly too constructed? I mean, that's what I felt by the end.
Possibly. No, it didn't worry me. I just enjoyed the sense of construction in a way so much. I just loved what he was doing, the way it was lit, the way it referenced so many other films as well as so many novels. The thing that struck me, though, was that the line between the racism and misogyny of the two characters and the commentary on the misogyny and the racism was such a thin line. What was Zahler really doing here? Does he really believe some of this stuff himself? Is he really racist and misogynist?
What are you giving it?
I'm giving it 4.5.
No, I'm not quite going that far. I'm giving it 4, though.
Start the party. You still in?
I am until I'm not.
Face the windshield. Put on your seatbelts and lock the doors.